Picture this. You're 17 years old. You've never been more than 20 miles from your family's farm, and you're standing in a field watching your best friend bleed out in the mud, while cannons shake the earth beneath your feet. That was my reality in 1863. My name is Samuel Bridger, and I fought in the deadliest war America has ever known. The war that tore our nation in half. The war that killed more Americans than World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam combined. This is my story, and I need you to hear it, because what I'm about to tell you isn't what you learned in history class. Before we start, I want you to do something for me. Look around the room you're in right now. Count the people you can see, your family, your friends. Maybe you're alone. Now imagine that in 4 years, 1 out of every 50 people you know will be dead. That's what the Civil War did to America. Over 620,000 soldiers killed. Countless civilians, entire towns erased, families destroyed forever. And I saw it all. I'm going to take you back to 1861, back to a time when brother fought brother, when the United States of America came within a hair's breadth of ceasing to exist, when boys like me learned what it really means to survive. No Hollywood dramatization, no romantic notions of glory, just the truth. So hit that subscribe button, because you're about to experience the American Civil War like you've never heard it before, through the eyes of someone who was actually there. Let's go back to where it all began. It's April 1861, and I'm 15 years old. I live in Pennsylvania. Small farming community. Everyone knows everyone. The kind of place where your biggest worry is whether the corn will come in good this year. I wake up before dawn every morning to milk cows. My hands are rough, my back aches. I've never seen the ocean, never been to a big city. The furthest I've traveled is Pittsburgh, and that's only because my father needed to sell livestock. This is my entire world. Then one morning, my father comes running from town with a newspaper clutched in his fist. His face is white as cotton. They fired on Fort Sumter, he says. South Carolina. The war's started. I don't understand what this means. Not really. Sure, I know there's been talk. Angry talk. Talk about slavery and states' rights and secession. But that's politician talk. Rich men arguing in fancy buildings hundreds of miles away. What does that have to do with me? Everything, as it turns out. You have to understand something about America in 1861. We're not the America you know today. We're barely a country at all. Most people have never left their home state. There's no national news network, no phones, no internet. Information travels at the speed of a horse, and rumors travel even faster. When President Lincoln calls for 75,000 volunteers to put down the rebellion, those rumors turn into a fever. It sweeps through our town like wildfire. Within a week, every boy over 16 is talking about enlisting. The older men, too. Even some of the women are disguising themselves as men to join up. The talk is always the same. It'll be over by Christmas. One big battle, and those rebels will scatter. We'll march to Richmond, capture their president, and be home in time for harvest. My best friend Thomas practically bounces with excitement. Sam, we have to go. Think about it. We'll see the world. Get real uniforms. They say the army pays $13 a month. That's more than we make in 3 months of farm work. I'm not so sure. My mother cries when the subject comes up. My father stays quiet, but I see something in his eyes. Something dark. He fought in the Mexican War back in '46. He doesn't talk about it. Ever. That should have told me something. But I'm 15, and 15-year-old boys don't think about consequences. We think about adventure, about proving we're men, about not being left behind while everyone else goes off to do something important. So when Thomas says he's going to enlist in July, I say I'm coming too. There's just one problem. I'm too young. You need to be 18 to enlist, and I barely look 15. I'm skinny, short, still have a boy's face. Thomas has a solution. Just lie about your age. Everyone's doing it. The recruiters don't care. They need bodies. He's right about that. The recruitment officer is set up in the town square. Big guy, red face, voice like a bullfrog. He's standing on a platform draped in American flags, giving a speech about duty and honor and preserving the Union. A crowd has gathered. Farmers, shopkeepers, boys my age with stars in their eyes. "This is our moment," the recruiter bellows. "Our chance to show the world what Americans are made of. Who among you will answer the call? Who will stand up for the Constitution, for freedom, for the United States of America?" The crowd roars. Thomas grabs my arm. "Come on." We push through to the front. There's a table with papers and a man taking names. "Age?" he asks Thomas without looking up. 18, sir." The man writes it down. Doesn't even check. Then he looks at me. Really looks at me. I see his eyes take in my thin frame, my smooth cheeks, the fact that I'm at least 6 inches shorter than Thomas. My heart hammers. He's going to turn me away. "Age," he says. I open my mouth. Close it. Open it again. 18, I croak. The longest pause of my life. Then he writes it down. Just like that, I'm a soldier in the Union Army. Private Samuel Bridger, Company F, 83rd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry. I should feel excited. Proud. Instead, I feel a cold knot forming in my stomach that I'll carry for the next 4 years. We're given 2 weeks to get our affairs in order before we have to report to the regimental camp. Those are the worst 2 weeks of my life up to that point. My mother doesn't speak to me. She just looks at me with these red, swollen eyes and turns away whenever I enter a room. My little sister, Mary, she's only 7, keeps asking when I'm coming back. I tell her by Christmas. I actually believe it. My father takes me aside the night before I leave. We're in the barn, and he's showing me how to care for the animals one more time, like I haven't been doing it for 10 years already. But he's not really showing me. He's stalling. Finally, he stops, puts down the feed bucket, looks me dead in the eye. "Samuel," he says, "war isn't what you think it is." I know, Pa. "No, you don't." His voice is hard. "You think it's going to be parades and flags and glory. It's not. It's mud and blood and watching men die screaming for their mothers. It's being so scared you can't remember your own name. It's things you'll see that you can't ever unsee." I don't know what to say. He puts his hand on my shoulder. It's shaking. "Keep your head down," he says. "Don't volunteer for anything. Don't try to be a hero. Heroes die. Cowards live. You understand me?" I nod. "And Samuel, if you get the chance to desert, you take it, you hear me? I don't care about honor or duty. You run and you come home." This shocks me. My father is the most honorable man I know. "I mean it," he says. "Nothing matters but coming home alive." Nothing. The next morning, Thomas and I walk to the meeting point. About 40 other men from our town and the surrounding area are there. Some are old family friends. Some I've never seen before. We're loading onto wagons when I hear my mother call my name. She's running down the road, my sister in tow. When she reaches me, she pulls me into a hug so tight I can barely breathe. "You come home," she whispers fiercely in my ear. "You promise me. You come home." "I promise, Ma." She pulls back, touches my face. Her hands are trembling. "You're still my baby," she says. "You'll always be my baby." Then the sergeant is yelling for us to mount up, and I'm being pulled away, and my mother and sister are standing there in the road getting smaller and smaller as the wagon rolls away. I don't cry. But Thomas does. And so do half the other men in that wagon. The training camp is outside Harrisburg. When we arrive, I realize just how big this war is going to be. There are thousands of men here. Thousands. All in various states of training. Some are already in uniform, dark blue wool jackets and light blue trousers. Others, like us, are still in their farm clothes. The noise is unbelievable. sergeants screaming orders, drums beating, hundreds of conversations happening at once, horses whinnying, wagons creaking. It's like the entire state of Pennsylvania has been squeezed into one field. We're assigned to our company and given our uniforms. This is the moment I've been waiting for. The moment I become a real soldier. But the uniform doesn't fit. The jacket is too big. The trousers are too long. The shoes, which are supposed to be boots but are really just leather tied around my feet, are 2 sizes too large. I look ridiculous. We all do. Thomas laughs when he sees me. "You look like a scarecrow." "You look like you stole your grandfather's clothes," I shoot back. But we're smiling, still excited, still thinking this is an adventure. That lasts about 2 days. Our sergeant is a man named O'Reilly, Irish, built like a bull. Voice that could wake the dead 3 counties over. He takes one look at our company, farmers and shopkeepers and boys playing soldier, and his face turns purple. "What in the name of sweet Jesus is this?" he roars. "You call yourselves soldiers? My grandmother could fight better than you, and she's been dead 10 years. Welcome to the army." O'Reilly becomes our whole world. He drills us from dawn until dark, marching, formation, loading and firing our rifles, bayonet practice, over and over and over until we're doing it in our sleep. And he never stops screaming. "Faster! Your enemy isn't going to wait for you to figure out which end of the rifle to point. Dress those lines. You think the rebels are going to be impressed by your sloppy formation. Keep up. My dead grandmother could march faster." The rifle they issue me is a Springfield model, 1861. It's heavy, over 9 pounds, and it's basically a long stick with a trigger. Single shot, muzzle loading. Every time you want to fire, you have to go through this elaborate process. Tear open a paper cartridge with your teeth. Pour the powder down the barrel. Ram the bullet down with a ramrod. Put a percussion cap on the nipple. Cock the hammer. Aim. Fire. If you're good, you can do this 3 times a minute. We're not good. The first time I try to load under time pressure, I drop the ramrod. Then I forget the percussion cap. Then I somehow manage to load the bullet before the powder, which means the whole thing is useless and I have to start over. O'Reilly appears at my shoulder like an angry ghost. "Bridger, what are you doing?" "Loading my rifle, Sergeant." "No, you're fondling your rifle like it's your sweetheart. Load it. Load it now. The enemy is charging. They're 50 yards away. 40, 30. Load your weapon." My hands are shaking so bad I can barely tear the cartridge. "You're dead, Bridger. Dead because you're too slow and too stupid." Again. This goes on for hours. By the end of the first week, my hands are covered in black powder stains. My fingers are cut from ramrods. My shoulders are bruised from the rifle's recoil. My feet are bleeding from marching in those terrible shoes, and I haven't even seen a rebel yet. It's the 3rd week when I almost quit. We're doing a 20-mile march in full kit. Rifle, bedroll, haversack, canteen, cartridge box, bayonet, cap pouch. All told, about 40 pounds of equipment. It's August. Pennsylvania in August is like being inside an oven. The wool uniform doesn't breathe. The sun beats down. We've been marching for 6 hours, with only 2 short breaks. Men start dropping. First it's the older ones, then some of the heavier guys, then anyone who didn't drink enough water. They just stop, fall out of formation. Some collapse right in the road. I want to stop too. Every step feels like my feet are on fire. The straps of my equipment are cutting into my shoulders. I can't remember ever being this thirsty. But I don't stop. Why? Because Thomas is next to me, and he's not stopping. Because O'Reilly is watching. Because I said I was 18, and if I can't even finish a march, everyone will know I lied. Pride. Stupid, stubborn pride. We make it back to camp as the sun is setting. I collapse next to my tent and don't move for an hour. That night, 3 men desert. Just gone. Took their civilian clothes and walked away into the darkness. O'Reilly finds out the next morning. He doesn't seem surprised, doesn't seem angry. He just says, Good. Better they leave now than when someone's depending on them. I think about what my father said, about deserting if I got the chance. I could do it. Just walk away. Go home. Tell everyone the army made a mistake and sent me home. But I don't. And I'll spend the next 4 years wondering if that was the bravest or stupidest decision of my life. 6 weeks into training, something changes. I'm loading my rifle for what feels like the 1,000th time, and suddenly I realize I'm not thinking about it anymore. My hands just know what to do. Tear, pour, ram, cap, cock, aim, fire. 3 rounds in a minute. Smooth as butter. I look around and see the same thing happening to the other men. The stumbling, confused farmers are gone. In their place are soldiers. We move together, march in step, follow orders without thinking. It's like we've become parts of a machine. O'Reilly notices too. One morning, he actually compliments us. Not bad, ladies. You're almost starting to look like real soldiers. Almost. Coming from him, this is like a declaration of love. We get our regimental colors, the flags we'll carry into battle. Blue silk with gold lettering, 83rd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry. The ceremony is supposed to be solemn and meaningful, but honestly, I'm more excited about the rumor that we're getting real coffee instead of the brown water we've been drinking. The days develop a rhythm. Wake before dawn. Breakfast, usually hardtack and salt pork. Morning drill. Lunch, more hardtack and salt pork. Afternoon drill. Dinner, sometimes fresh meat if we're lucky. But usually, you guessed it. At night, we sit around fires and talk. About home, about the war, about what we think battle will be like. None of us have any idea. Thomas has become friends with a guy named William Garrett. Everyone calls him Will. He's 22, married, got a baby daughter he's never seen. He draws pictures in a little notebook during his free time. "What are you drawing?" I ask one night. He shows me. It's a sketch of our tent, with Thomas and me sitting outside it. "You're really good," I say. He shrugs. I figure if I draw everything I see, maybe I'll remember it when I get home, so I can tell my daughter about it. "What if you forget your notebook?" Thomas jokes. Will's face goes serious. "I won't. This notebook goes everywhere I do. I've got pictures of my wife in here, of my farm. It's the only thing keeping me sane." He'll be dead in 7 months. But we don't know that yet. October 1861, we get our marching orders. We're heading south, to Washington, D.C., and then into Virginia. The real war is about to begin. The camp erupts in excitement. Finally, we're going to fight. We're going to show those rebels what Pennsylvania men are made of. O'Reilly gathers the company. His face is different, harder. "Listen to me," he says, "and listen good. Everything changes now. This isn't drill. This isn't practice. Where we're going, men die. Some of you won't come back. That's just a fact." The excitement dies down a bit. "Stick together," he continues. "Watch out for the man next to you. Follow orders, and for the love of God, keep your powder dry and your head down." He pauses, looks at each of us. "You're good men. Better than I expected when I first saw you. Make me proud. Make Pennsylvania proud. But most of all, stay alive." We board trains the next day. Real trains, not wagons. I've never been on a train before. It's incredible. The speed, the noise, the way the countryside blurs past the windows. We're packed in like cattle. 60 men in a car meant for 40. But nobody cares. We're singing, telling jokes, making grand predictions about how we're going to whip the rebels. Thomas is practically vibrating with excitement. "We're really doing it, Sam. We're really going to war?" "Yeah, we really are." I look out the window at Pennsylvania rolling past, at the farms and towns and rivers I've known my whole life, and I wonder if I'll ever see them again. We arrive in Washington in late October 1861. The capital is chaos, absolute chaos. There are soldiers everywhere, tens of thousands of them, Union blue as far as the eye can see. Camps sprawl across every open field. Forts are being built on every hill. The city has transformed from a sleepy southern town into an armed fortress. And it's filthy. I mean truly, disgustingly filthy. The streets are mud. The air smells like sewage and unwashed bodies. Disease is everywhere. Men are dying from typhoid and dysentery faster than from rebel bullets. Our regiment camps on the outskirts near a place called Fort Stevens. This is where reality really starts to set in. See, in Pennsylvania, it was all theoretical. Here, the war is right in front of us. We can see Confederate campfires across the Potomac at night. We hear about skirmishes and raids. Wounded men come back through our camp, and they don't look heroic. They look terrified. One night, I'm on guard duty when a wagon rolls past carrying wounded from a skirmish. I see a man with his jaw half blown off, another with a leg amputated, the stump wrapped in bloody rags. One kid, can't be more than 16, is just screaming and screaming and screaming. I throw up right there in the road. The sergeant in charge of the wagon doesn't even look at me, just keeps driving. Thomas finds me afterward, sitting with my back against a tree. "You okay?" he asks. "Yeah," I lie. "Just ate something bad." He knows I'm lying. I know he knows. But we don't talk about it, because what is there to say? November and December 1861 pass in a blur of monotony and misery. We're not fighting, we're just waiting. Drill, guard duty, more drill, clean equipment, check for lice, try to stay warm. Repeat, the winter is brutal, our tents barely keep out the cold. We're issued 2 blankets each, but it's never enough. At night, you sleep pressed against the other men in your tent, sharing body heat like animals. The food gets worse. Hardtack is our main staple. If you've never had hardtack, imagine eating a piece of floor. That's what it tastes like. It's so hard you have to soak it in water or coffee to even bite it, and even then it might break your teeth. Sometimes we find weevils in the hardtack. We call them recruits and joke that they're more meat than the salt pork. Disease sweeps through the camp like a scythe. Measles, mumps, typhoid, pneumonia. Men who survived 6 months of training die shivering in hospital tents. Will catches pneumonia in December. He survives, but he's never quite the same. The cough stays with him. Christmas comes and goes. We're supposed to get a special meal, but it never materializes. Instead, Thomas and I share a can of peaches he got from home and pretend it's a feast. "Merry Christmas, Sam," he says. "Merry Christmas." We're both thinking about home, about real food, about warm beds and our families. Neither of us says it out loud. March 1862 changes everything. General McClellan, Little Mac, the soldiers call him, has been building the Army of the Potomac into a massive force. Over 100,000 men, the largest army ever assembled in North America. And now we're finally going to use it. The plan is to load the entire army onto ships, sail down the Potomac and around to the Virginia Peninsula, then march on Richmond from the east. It's brilliant, it's ambitious, it's going to be a disaster. But we don't know that yet. The embarkation is incredible. Hundreds of ships, steamers, sailing vessels, barges. The entire bay is covered in boats. We watch from the deck as the coast of Virginia comes into view. "This is it," Thomas says. "We're going to end this war." We land at Fort Monroe in late March. The fort is this huge stone structure at the tip of the peninsula, the only Union foothold in Virginia. From here, we march and march and march. The Virginia Peninsula in spring is beautiful. Green forests, blooming flowers, rivers that sparkle in the sunlight. It's also the worst place on earth to move an army. The roads are terrible. Every time it rains, and it rains constantly, they turn into rivers of mud. The wagons get stuck. The artillery sinks up to its axles. We spend more time pulling equipment out of the mud than actually advancing. Disease strikes again. The swamps breed mosquitoes by the millions. Malaria becomes our new enemy, but we keep moving. Slowly, carefully, because McClellan is a cautious man. Too cautious, as it turns out. April 1862. We reach Yorktown and find the Confederates have fortified the entire area. Trenches, earthworks, artillery positions. McClellan stops the army, decides to lay siege instead of attacking. We spend an entire month digging trenches and building fortifications while the rebels do the same thing 50 yards away. This is where I see my first combat. Sort of. It's not a battle. It's just shooting at each other from trenches. A few men pop up, fire some rifles, duck back down. Maybe some artillery exchanges, then nothing for hours. The first time someone shoots at me, I don't even realize it's happened. I'm standing in the trench, talking to Thomas, when something snaps past my head and smacks into the dirt wall behind me. Thomas grabs me and yanks me down. "What? That was a bullet, you idiot. Keep your head down." My heart is hammering. Someone just tried to kill me. Really kill me. I peek over the edge of the trench, trying to see the enemy. There's nothing but trees and earthworks. Somewhere out there, invisible, is a man who just tried to put a bullet in my brain. It's terrifying and surreal all at once. Over the next few weeks, this becomes routine. Shots ring out randomly. Sometimes someone screams. Usually, nothing happens. We lose 3 men at Yorktown, not in some glorious charge or desperate battle. One gets hit by a random artillery shell while walking to the latrine. Just vaporized. Gone. Another dies from dysentery. The third shoots himself cleaning his rifle. This is war. Random. Pointless. Brutal. In early May, we wake up to find the Confederate trenches empty. They've retreated during the night. McClellan declares it a great victory. We've taken Yorktown without a major battle. The men don't feel victorious. We feel cheated. We spent a month in the mud for nothing. But the real battle is coming. We pursue the retreating Confederates up the peninsula. The march is grueling. We're covering 10-15 miles a day in full kit. The heat is oppressive. Men drop from heat stroke. We start seeing signs of the enemy everywhere. Abandoned camps, damaged equipment. Sometimes we find dead rebels, bodies left behind in the retreat. The first dead enemy soldier I see is lying in a ditch by the road. He's been there for days, bloated, covered in flies. His face is black and his tongue is sticking out, and the smell, I can't describe the smell. I walk past him quickly, trying not to breathe, but I see Thomas stop. Really look at the body. "He's just a kid," Thomas says. "Can't be older than us." He's right. Under the decay and the flies, you can see the dead rebel was young. Maybe 16, 17. Somebody's son. "Keep moving," O'Reilly barks. We move, but I keep thinking about that body, that kid. He probably joined up thinking the same things we did. Glory, adventure, a quick war. And now he's rotting in a ditch. The retreat stops at Williamsburg. The rebels have fortified a line across the peninsula. They're going to make a stand. We're going to attack. This is it. My first real battle. The night before, nobody sleeps. We clean our weapons, check our ammunition, write letters home that might be our last. Will draws in his notebook by firelight. His hands are shaking. Thomas and I sit shoulder to shoulder, not talking. What is there to say? O'Reilly walks through the camp, checking on his men. When he gets to us, he stops. "Boys," he says quietly, "tomorrow's going to be hard, harder than anything you've experienced. You're going to want to run. Everyone does. But if you run, you'll die. If you stand with your brothers, you have a chance." He pauses. "Stay together. Watch each other. And remember, aim low. The smoke will make you shoot high, so aim for their knees. Understood?" We nod. "Good lads. Get some rest." Rest. Right. I lay in the tent listening to my heart beat, wondering if I'll be alive this time tomorrow, wondering if I'm brave enough. wondering if anyone is. Dawn comes grey and rainy. We form up in columns. The army is a massive beast, thousands of men in dark blue lines that stretch across the fields. The drums start. The officers shout orders. We begin to march toward the sound of cannon fire. Have you ever heard a cannon? I mean, really heard one. It's not like in the movies. It's a physical thing. The sound hits your chest, shakes your bones, makes your ears ring, and there are dozens of them. We march through fields and woods, following the regiments ahead of us. The rain has turned everything to mud. My feet squelch with every step. Then we hear it. Rifle fire. Thousands of rifles, creating a sound like ripping cloth. Only louder, so much louder. Form line, fix bayonets. O'Reilly's voice cuts through the chaos. We deploy from column into a battle line. 2 ranks. I'm in the 2nd rank, right behind Thomas. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely attach my bayonet. Forward, march! We start walking toward the sound of battle. The woods in front of us light up with smoke and fire. They're in the trees. Take cover! I drop behind a fallen log. All around me, men are doing the same. The air fills with a sound like angry hornets, bullets snapping through the branches above us. Return fire! Fire at will! I raise my rifle, try to find a target through the smoke and trees. I can't see anything, just smoke and shadows and muzzle flashes. I fire anyway. The rifle slams into my shoulder. The smoke from my own shot blinds me. Reload! Reload! Hands shaking, tear the cartridge. Pour the powder. I drop the bullet, scramble in the mud to find it. Where is it? Where is it? Sam, load your rifle. Thomas is screaming at me. I find the bullet. Ram it down. Cap, cock, fire again. Reload, fire, reload. I fall into the rhythm. Stop thinking, just load and fire, load and fire, load and fire. Time loses meaning. I don't know if I've been fighting for 5 minutes or 5 hours. Then someone near me screams. I look over. A man from another company, I don't know his name, is on the ground clutching his leg. Blood is pumping between his fingers. So much blood. Medic! Medic! But there's no medic. There's just chaos. Just smoke and noise and blood. Advance! Up and advance! We're moving forward, running through the trees. I jump over the wounded man. I have to. If I stop, I die. The rebel line appears through the smoke. They're behind a stone wall 50 yards ahead. Flashes of fire along the wall. The air is full of bullets. Men are falling, just crumpling. 1 second they're running beside you, the next they're gone. Fire! Pour it into them! We stop. Form a ragged line. Fire a volley. The rebels fire back. Something tugs at my sleeve. I look down. There's a hole in my jacket. The bullet missed my arm by an inch. I almost die and I barely notice. Charge! Charge them! O'Reilly is waving his sword. We're running, screaming. The rebel yell answers us, that high, wavering shriek that makes your blood run cold. We hit the wall, and suddenly it's not rifles anymore. It's bayonets and rifle butts and fists and teeth. I see a rebel soldier coming at me. He's my age. Terrified eyes. He thrusts his bayonet at my chest. I knock it aside with my rifle barrel, swing the butt at his head. It connects with a sickening crunch. He goes down. Did I kill him? I don't know. I don't have time to check. The rebels are breaking, running. We're over the wall chasing them. Then a bugle sounds. Officers are shouting, "Halt! Reform! Dress your lines!" Just like that, it's over. The battle is still raging in other parts of the field, but here, in our little piece of hell, it's done. I'm alive. I can't believe I'm alive. We hold the position, set up a perimeter, wait for orders. That's when I start to really see what happened. The ground is covered in bodies. Union blue and Confederate gray mixed together. Some are still. Some are moving. Some are screaming. The wounded are the worst. The screaming, the begging, the crying for mothers who are hundreds of miles away. I find Will sitting against a tree. His notebook is open, but he's not drawing. He's just staring at nothing. "You okay?" I ask. He doesn't answer for a long moment. Then, "I killed 2 men, maybe 3. I can't remember their faces. Isn't that terrible? I killed them and I can't even remember what they looked like." I don't know what to say to that. Thomas appears, covered in mud and blood. I grab him. "You hit? Not my blood," he says. His voice is flat. "Dead." We find out later that we lost 18 men, dead or wounded, in our company alone, out of 80. One of them is a kid named James Porter, 15 years old, same as me when I joined. He'd lied about his age too. He took a bullet through the throat, drowned in his own blood before anyone could help him. He'd been in the army for 4 months. That night, we bury our dead. Quick graves, marked with rough wooden crosses. I stand at the edge of the burial detail and watch them lower James Porter into the ground. 15 years old. His mother doesn't know he's dead yet. Won't know for weeks. She's probably at home right now, making dinner, wondering when her boy's coming home. He's never coming home. None of this feels real. It feels like a nightmare I'm going to wake up from, but I don't wake up. This is real. This is war. And we're just getting started. We advance toward Richmond through May. Every few days there's another fight, another skirmish, another battle. They blur together. The names become meaningless. This creek, that crossroads, this farm. We fight. Men die. We move on. The army is changing. The excited volunteers from Pennsylvania are gone. In their place are hollow-eyed veterans who barely talk anymore. We stop singing on the march. Stop making jokes. Just put one foot in front of the other. The death becomes routine. You see a man go down and you just step over him. You don't stop. You can't stop. Will's cough gets worse. He's losing weight. But he won't report to sick call because sick men get left behind, and he's terrified of being separated from the regiment. Thomas doesn't talk much anymore. We sleep side by side every night, but I feel like I barely know him. The war has carved something out of him. It's carved something out of all of us. We're camped near a place called 7 Pines, about 6 miles from Richmond. So close we can see the church steeples of the Confederate capital. McClellan is sure the rebels are going to retreat without a fight. He split the army across the Chickahominy River. Big mistake. May 31st starts normal. Morning drill, bad coffee, the usual complaints about the food and the weather. Then, around noon, we hear it. Artillery. Heavy. To the south. Fall in! Fall in! We form up in record time. March toward the sound of the guns. The rebels aren't retreating. They're attacking, and they've caught part of our army isolated. We quick march for miles, can hear the battle getting closer, louder. Then we're in it. 7 Pines is worse than Williamsburg. The rebels are fighting like demons. They nearly break through our lines 3 times. I'm in the battle line, firing and reloading mechanically, when I see Thomas go down. Time freezes. "Thomas!" I'm running to him before I even think about it. Bullets are zipping past. Don't care. He's on the ground, clutching his shoulder, blood everywhere. "I'm hit," he says. Sounds surprised. "Sam, I'm hit." I got you. I got you." I drag him back behind the line. His blood is all over my hands. So warm. A surgeon's assistant appears. They call them stewards. He looks at Thomas's shoulder for about 2 seconds. "Flesh wound. He'll live. Get him to the field hospital." "I can't leave my regiment." "Go. That's an order." I half carry Thomas back. The field hospital is chaos. Wounded everywhere. Surgeons working at tables, literally sawing off limbs. The pile of amputated arms and legs is as tall as a man. I find a spot for Thomas and ease him down. "You're going to be okay," I tell him. "Just a flesh wound. You heard the steward." He grabs my hand, squeezes hard. "Don't leave me here," he says. "Please, don't leave me. I have to get back to the regiment. Sam, I'll come back, I promise. Soon as the fighting's done." I run back to the battle. Feel like a coward the whole way. The fighting lasts until dark. We hold. Barely. That night, I go back to the hospital to find Thomas. He's asleep. The surgeon says he'll be fine. The bullet went clean through. No bone damage. He'll be back with the regiment in a few weeks. I sit with him for a while. Watch him breathe. He looks young when he sleeps, like the farm boy he used to be, like we both used to be. Late June, we're poised to attack Richmond. We're so close. The war could end. Then Robert E. Lee takes command of the Confederate Army. Everything changes. Lee doesn't wait to be attacked. He attacks us. For 7 straight days, we fight running battles as we retreat down the peninsula. The same ground we took in months. We give up in a week. It's brutal, relentless. Every day there's a new battle. Mechanicsville, Gaines's Mill, Savage's Station, White Oak Swamp, Glendale. We're not marching anymore. We're running. The whole army is falling back toward the coast, toward the safety of our gunboats. The rebels pursue us like wolves. At Gaines' Mill, we nearly break. The Confederate assault is overwhelming. They hit our line in waves, screaming that ungodly rebel yell. I fire until my rifle barrel is too hot to touch, until I'm out of ammunition. Then I'm picking up cartridges from dead men's boxes. The line breaks on our right. Rebels pour through the gap. Fall back! Retreat! We run. It's a rout. Men throwing away their equipment to move faster. Discipline gone. I run with them, shame burning my face. But I run. We rally behind another unit, form a new line, but the damage is done. We've lost the field. Thomas rejoins us at Savage's Station. His shoulder is still bandaged, but he refused to be evacuated. Couldn't let you have all the fun, he says with a ghost of a smile. I'm so glad to see him I could cry. We fight again at Glendale, and again at Malvern Hill. Malvern Hill is different. We're on high ground. Good artillery positions. When the rebels attack, we cut them down in waves. It's a slaughter. For once, we're doing the slaughtering. The rebel dead are piled 3 deep in front of our positions. The sound of thousands of wounded men screaming in the darkness is something I'll hear for the rest of my life. We win at Malvern Hill, decisively. But we retreat anyway, all the way to Harrison's Landing, where we huddle under the protection of the Navy's guns. The Peninsula Campaign is over. 100,000 men, 6 months of planning, thousands of casualties, and we're right back where we started. We camp at Harrison's Landing for the rest of the summer. The Army of the Potomac is broken, not destroyed, but broken. Morale is in the toilet. Men are deserting by the hundreds. Disease ravages the camps. Our regiment has been ground down. We started with nearly 1,000 men. We have maybe 400 effectives left. The rest are dead, wounded, or sick. I'm promoted to corporal, not because I did anything heroic. Simply because everyone ranked above me is gone. I'm 17 years old, and I'm giving orders to men twice my age. Thomas and I share a tent with Will and 2 new recruits, boys fresh from Pennsylvania who haven't seen combat yet. They ask us what it's like. We don't answer, can't explain it to them. They'll find out soon enough. Will is getting sicker. The cough never stops. He's thin as a rail, but he keeps drawing in his notebook. Keeps going. I'm going to make it home, he tells me one night. I'm going to see my daughter. She's walking now. My wife wrote and told me. Walking, and I've never even held her. You'll hold her, I say. Don't know if I believe it. I will, he says firmly. I have to. I promised. August brings new orders. We're being pulled north. There's another army forming under General Pope. We're being sent to reinforce him. We march back up the peninsula. The same roads we fought over, past battlefields where we left our friends in shallow graves. We reach northern Virginia in late August, just in time for another disaster. Second Bull Run, almost the exact same place as the first big battle of the war. And we lose. Again, I won't describe the whole battle. It's like all the others. only bigger, more confused, more chaotic. What I remember is this. We're holding a position on a hill. The rebels attack. We fight them off. They attack again. We fight them off again. This goes on for hours. I'm reloading when I hear a sound like a wet slap. Look over. The man next to me, one of the new recruits, can't remember his name, has had the top of his head taken off by a cannonball. He's still standing. For just a second, he's still standing, even though there's nothing above his eyebrows. Then he falls. I throw up. Right there in the battle line. Can't help it. Steady! Steady on! O'Reilly is in front of us, sword raised, completely calm even though men are dying around him. We hold this ground, you hear me? We hold. We hold. Until the order comes to retreat. The army falls back. Another defeat. More ground given up. Pope is relieved of command. McClellan is put back in charge, even though he failed on the peninsula. The soldiers don't care. We love Little Mac. He makes us feel like winners even when we're losing. We retreat all the way back to Washington. Dig in. Wait for Lee to attack. He doesn't. Instead, he invades Maryland, and we have to stop him. September 17th, 1862. The single bloodiest day in American history. We catch up with Lee's army at Antietam Creek, near Sharpsburg, Maryland. McClellan has 75,000 men. Lee has about 40,000. We outnumber them. We should win. But this is war. Nothing goes as planned. The battle starts at dawn. We're held in reserve, watching as other units attack. From our position, we can see it all. It's like watching a machine designed to destroy human beings. Thousands of men advance across open fields. The Confederates are dug in on high ground. They pour fire into the advancing Union troops. Men fall like wheat before a scythe. Whole regiments disappear into the smoke and don't come out. Then it's our turn. Forward, double quick march. We advance at a run toward a sunken road. The rebels are using it as a trench. They call it the Sunken Road. Soon it'll have another name, Bloody Lane. We form up in the fields above the road. The rebels are 50 yards away, packed into that sunken road like fish in a barrel. Ready, aim! I can see them, individual faces, men with beards, boys with smooth cheeks, all pointing rifles at us. Fire! Both sides fire at the same time. The sound is deafening. The smoke is instant and total. When it clears, half the men I was standing next to are gone. Just gone. But the rebel line has been shattered. Bodies are piled in the sunken road. Charge! Charge the position! We run forward, jump down into the road. It's full of bodies. Confederate dead and wounded. Layers of them, 3, 4 deep in places. Blood is running like a creek. I slip in it. Fall. My hands land in blood and gore. I'm trying to stand up and I'm stepping on bodies, on men who might still be alive. I can't tell. I just need to get up. Need to keep moving. We secure the position. The rebels fall back. We've won this part of the battle. The cost, thousands dead, in one sunken road. The battle rages all day. The cornfield, the Dunker Church, Burnside's Bridge. Each place name will become synonymous with slaughter. By evening, 23,000 men are dead or wounded. In one day, we hold the field. Lee retreats back to Virginia. Lincoln calls it a victory, issues the Emancipation Proclamation. But standing in that field at Antietam, surrounded by the dead, it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like the end of the world. Something breaks in me after Antietam. Or maybe it's been breaking all along, and this is just when I notice. I stop feeling things the way I used to. Fear, anger, joy, they're all distant now. Muted, like I'm watching myself from far away. The men call it being war-worn. But it's more than that. I watch men die and feel nothing. I kill rebels and feel nothing. I eat, sleep, march, fight, and feel nothing. Is this what survival looks like? Thomas sees it happening to me. I see it happening to him. We don't talk about it. Will is still with us, but barely. The cough is worse. He can hardly eat, but he won't report sick. "I'm going home," he says. "I'm going to make it home." He says it like a prayer. December brings a new commander, General Burnside. He has a plan to attack Richmond through Fredericksburg. It's a terrible plan. We can all see it's a terrible plan. Burnside sees it too, I think. But he attacks anyway. The rebels are dug in on the heights above Fredericksburg. Perfect defensive position. Artillery commanding every approach. Infantry behind a stone wall at the base of the hill. We have to attack across open ground, uphill, into prepared positions. It's suicide, but orders are orders. December 13th. Cold, foggy. We form up in the streets of Fredericksburg. I'm a sergeant now, lost another corporal at Antietam. I'm responsible for 12 men. Most of them are replacements, new recruits. They look at me like I have answers. I don't have answers. "Listen," I tell them, "when we go forward, you stay low. You keep moving. You don't stop for the wounded. You understand? You stop, you die." They nod. Eyes wide, so young. They're all so young. Are we that young? Were we ever that young? "Forward!" We advance out of the town, across a bridge, into the open fields. The rebel artillery opens up. Solid shot, shells, canister. They hammer our lines. Men are blown apart, entire companies shattered. We keep advancing. Reach the stone wall at the base of the hill. The rebels are behind it, safe, protected. They fire as fast as they can load. We fire back, but we're in the open and they're behind cover. It's not a battle, it's an execution. I see Thomas go down. I'm at his side instantly. "I'm okay, I'm okay." He's breathing hard, wild-eyed. The bullet hit my canteen. "Look." Sure enough, his canteen has a bullet hole clean through it. Water is pouring out, mixing with the blood from other men. We laugh, hysterical, terrified laughter. Because that's all you can do. The attack fails. Obviously. We try again, and again, and again. 14 separate charges against that stone wall. 14 times we're thrown back. The casualties are unbelievable. Over 12,000 Union soldiers killed or wounded. The rebels lose maybe 5,000. That night, we withdraw. Leave the wounded on the field. Their cries echo through the darkness. I lie in our bivouac and stare at the stars. I'm 18 years old. I've been in the army for 16 months. I've fought in 6 major battles and dozens of skirmishes. I've seen hundreds of men die. I've killed men with my own hands, and we're no closer to ending this war than we were when it started. The winter of 1862-63 is the worst yet. We camp near Fredericksburg in conditions that can only be described as medieval. Inadequate food. No proper shelter. Disease everywhere. Men are dying from exposure, from disease, from despair. Desertions reach epidemic levels. Whole companies disappear overnight. Can't blame them. What are we fighting for? We keep losing, keep dying. For what? The new recruits, the ones who joined thinking it would be a short war, are becoming disillusioned. "When does it end?" one asks me. "When one side runs out of men," I answer. It's the truth. This war isn't going to end with some grand battle or brilliant strategy. It's going to end when one side or the other has been bled so dry they can't fight anymore. We'll finally report sick in January. The surgeons take one look at him and send him to a hospital in Washington. We visit him before he goes. He can barely sit up. The cough is constant, but he's clutching that notebook. "I'm going to make it," he whispers. "I'm going to see my daughter." "You will," Thomas says. "You'll be home by spring." Will smiles. Doesn't believe it. Neither do we. He dies in the hospital 3 weeks later. The army sends his effects home, including the notebook. I hope his daughter sees those drawings. I hope she knows her father spent every spare moment thinking about her. I hope it matters. Spring 1863 brings a new commander, General Hooker. Fighting Joe, they call him. He reorganizes the army, drills us relentlessly, builds morale back up. "We're going to win this time," he announces. "I have the finest army on the planet." He might even believe it. Late April, we march. Hooker has a plan. A good plan. We're going to flank Lee's army, trap him, destroy him. For once, we might actually win. We cross the Rapidan River, march through an area called the Wilderness. Dense forest, terrible roads, impossible terrain. We form up near a crossroads called Chancellorsville, and then Hooker loses his nerve. We have Lee outnumbered 2-1. We have the better position. We should attack. Instead, Hooker orders us to dig in. Go defensive. We can't believe it. We finally have an advantage and we're throwing it away. Lee doesn't hesitate. He attacks. May 1st, we fight a confused battle in the woods. Can't see 20 yards in any direction. Units get lost. Friendly fire is constant. That night, Lee does something insane. He splits his army in the face of a superior force, sends Stonewall Jackson on a flanking march around our right. It should be suicide. We should be able to destroy Lee's divided force. But Hooker does nothing. May 2nd, Jackson hits our right flank like a thunderbolt, catches them completely unprepared. The entire Union right collapses. We're on the left. All we can do is watch as thousands of men come streaming back in panic. May 3rd, we're fighting desperately. Our position is being compressed. Artillery is tearing us apart. I'm in the battle line when a shell explodes 15 feet away. The concussion lifts me off my feet. I land hard. Can't hear anything. Can't see anything through the smoke. Something grabs my shoulder. It's Thomas. He's yelling, but I can't hear him. My ears are ringing. Everything sounds underwater. We fall back and fall back and fall back. By May 6th, we're retreating across the Rapidan again. Another defeat, another disaster. 17,000 Union casualties. We started the campaign with such hope, such confidence. Now we're right back where we started. Broken again. May and June 1863 are a blur. We camp, drill, wait for orders, but something has changed in the army, in the men. The hope is gone. The belief that we can win this war, it's just gone. Men go through the motions, follow orders, but the fire has gone out. I feel it in myself. A darkness, a void where there used to be something. I don't even remember what. Thomas and I barely talk anymore. We sit together in silence. We've become ghosts, walking, breathing ghosts. The new recruits look at us veterans with something like fear. We don't look human anymore. We look hollowed out. Because we are. One night, I'm on guard duty. It's 2 a.m. Dark, cold. Everyone else is asleep. I could just walk away. Right now, head north, desert, go home. Nobody would stop me. Nobody would care. I think about it for a long time. My father's words echo in my head. If you get the chance to desert, you take it. I could be home in 2 weeks. See my mother, my little sister, sleep in a real bed, eat real food, leave all this death and horror behind. I take 3 steps toward the road. Stop. If I leave, what happens to Thomas? What happens to the men in my squad who look to me? What happens to all of it? I turn back, return to my post, stay. I don't know if that makes me brave or stupid. Probably just stupid. Late June brings alarming news. Lee's army has invaded the North again. They're in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, my home. The army marches north, fast, forced marches of 30 miles a day in the summer heat. Men drop like flies. But we keep moving. We have to. Lee is on our soil now. July 1st, we hear fighting ahead, near a town called Gettysburg. We force march toward the sound of battle. Arrive late on July 1st, after the first day's fighting is over. The Union forces have been pushed back through the town onto high ground south of Gettysburg. Cemetery Hill, Cemetery Ridge, Culp's Hill, good defensive terrain. For once, we have the high ground. We dig in, build earthworks, prepare. July 2nd, Lee attacks. The rebels hit our left flank hard. Places called Devil's Den, Little Round Top, the wheat field. We're held in reserve, watching, waiting for orders. From our position, we can see the battle raging. It's chaos. The rebels nearly break through several times. But the line holds. Barely. That night, we're moved to the center of the line. Cemetery Ridge. Lee has failed on both flanks. Everyone knows what's coming tomorrow. He's going to hit the center with everything he has. July 3rd, 1863. The day that changes everything. The morning is quiet. Eerily quiet. Both armies waiting. Around 1 p.m., the Confederate artillery opens up. It's the largest artillery bombardment of the war, over 150 guns, all firing at once, all firing at us. The earth shakes. The noise is beyond description. Shells scream overhead, explode all around us. We're lying flat in our shallow earthworks. Praying. A shell lands in the next traverse. I hear screaming. Don't look, can't look. If I look, I'll run. The bombardment lasts 2 hours. Then it stops. Silence. Ringing, echoing silence. They're coming. Prepare to receive infantry. I raise my head. Look across the field. Oh God, the entire Confederate army is advancing. Thousands of men in perfect parade ground formation. Battle flags flying, officers on horseback, all marching directly at us. It's beautiful and terrible all at once. Hold your fire. Hold until they're in range. They march closer. 800 yards, 700, 600. Artillery, open fire. Our cannons roar. Shells tear gaps in the Confederate lines. Men fall in clusters, but they close ranks. Keep coming. 500 yards, 400, 300. Infantry, ready. I raise my rifle. Sight down the barrel at a man in gray. He has a beard, looks old, maybe 40. Maybe he has kids, a wife waiting for him. 200 yards. Take aim. I center the sight on his chest. Fire! The entire Union line erupts. Thousands of rifles, all at once. The rebel line staggers. Hundreds go down. Reload. Fire at will. Load. Fire. Load. Fire. Load. Fire. The rebels are still coming, still closing. They start running. Screaming, 100 yards, 75, 50. Canister! Give them canister! The artillery switches to canister shot, essentially giant shotgun shells. The effect is devastating, but still they come. Some rebels reach our wall, bayonets, fists, rocks, anything. I'm fighting a man hand to hand. He's trying to stab me with his bayonet. I block it with my rifle. We grapple. Fall. Someone shoots him. He goes limp on top of me. I push him off. He's young, maybe 20. His eyes are still open, staring at nothing. And then, suddenly, it's over. The rebels are retreating, running, broken. We've held. We've won. The silence after Pickett's charge is deafening. I stand up. Look around. The field is covered in bodies. Confederate dead and wounded as far as I can see. Thousands of them. We've destroyed Lee's army, broken the back of the invasion. The men around me are cheering, throwing their caps in the air, hugging each other. We've won a real victory. Finally. But I can't cheer. I'm looking at all those bodies, all those dead men. They fought bravely, impossibly bravely. They walked into certain death with their heads held high. And for what? They lost. We won, and they're still dead. All of them dead. I sit down on the stone wall, put my face in my hands. Thomas sits next to me, puts his hand on my shoulder, doesn't say anything. What is there to say? We've won the greatest victory of the war, and I've never felt emptier. The army doesn't pursue Lee. We're too exhausted, too broken. The rebels escape back to Virginia, but something has changed. Everyone feels it. Lee invaded the North twice, lost both times. The Confederacy is running out of men, running out of hope. Maybe this war can be won after all. But the cost, the casualty lists from Gettysburg are staggering. 51,000 men killed, wounded, or missing. In 3 days. Our regiment lost 40% of its strength. Again, I'm promoted to lieutenant, not because I did anything special, just because everyone ranked above me is dead or maimed. I'm 19 years old. I'm a commissioned officer in the United States Army, and I feel ancient. Thomas makes sergeant. We joke about it. 2 farm boys from Pennsylvania giving orders to men old enough to be our fathers, but the laughter rings hollow. After Gettysburg, the war changes. Or maybe we change. Hard to tell the difference anymore. The Army of the Potomac spends the fall of 1863 in a series of maneuvers with Lee's army. Skirmishing, minor battles. Nothing decisive. It's frustrating. We had Lee on the ropes. We should press the advantage. But Meade, our new commander, is cautious. He doesn't want to risk another defeat. Can't blame him. This army has been defeated so many times that caution seems like wisdom. But it means more months of waiting. More months of watching men die from disease and accidents. More months of this nightmare. I get a letter from home in September. First one in 4 months. My mother writes that Mary, my little sister, asks about me every day. Wants to know when I'm coming home. My mother doesn't ask when I'm coming home. She's smarter than that. She ends the letter. We pray for you every night. Your father hasn't been the same since you left. Please stay safe if you can. We love you. I read that letter 20 times. Memorize every word. Then I put it in my pocket, where it stays for the next year and a half, slowly disintegrating from sweat and rain and blood until the words are barely legible. But I never throw it away. Winter 1863 to 64 is better than the previous year. We're camped in an area with better supplies, better shelter. The food even improves slightly. Thomas and I are in the same company, though we command different platoons now. We still tent together when we can. We've been in the Army for 2.5 years now. Of the men who enlisted with us in Pennsylvania, only 11 are still with the regiment. 11 out of nearly 80. The rest are dead, discharged for wounds or illness, or deserted. We're the old guard now, the veterans everyone looks up to. It's a responsibility I never wanted. One night, a new recruit, kid named Charlie, can't be more than 16, asks me what combat is like. I don't answer for a long time. What do you say? How do you explain it to someone who hasn't been there? It's confusing, I finally say. Smoke and noise and you can't see what's happening. You just load and fire and hope you're shooting at the right people. But what about the glory? He asks. The honor? I almost laugh. There's no glory, Charlie. There's just surviving. That's all any of us are doing, just trying to survive. He looks disappointed. He'll understand soon enough. March 1864 brings news that changes everything. Ulysses S. Grant is being promoted to General-in-Chief of all Union armies. He's coming east, taking personal command. The men don't know what to think. Grant has won battles in the West, Fort Donelson, Vicksburg, Chattanooga. But the East is different. Lee is different. I have a feeling that Grant is different too. He arrives in late March. Short, rumpled uniform, cigar constantly in his mouth. He doesn't look like much. But when he addresses the officers, I see something in his eyes. A determination, a hardness. Gentlemen, he says, we're going to fight Lee. Not maneuver, not skirmish. Fight. We're going to hit him and keep hitting him until one of us breaks. I intend to make sure it's not us. This is new. Previous commanders fought one battle, retreated, reorganized, fought again months later. Grant is talking about continuous operations. Constant pressure. It's going to be bloody. May 5th, 1864, we cross the Rapidan River. Again. For what feels like the 100th time. We're marching through the wilderness, the same impossible terrain where we fought at Chancellorsville. Lee hits us on the morning of May 6th. The battle is chaos. Pure chaos. Dense forest. No visibility. Units firing on each other by mistake. Men getting lost. Orders not getting through. I'm advancing with my platoon when we walk into Confederate lines. Literally walk into them, 15 feet away before anyone realizes. Both sides fire at once. I go down. Something hits my leg. I'm on the ground. Can't tell if I'm hit or if I just tripped. My platoon is falling back. I try to stand. My leg won't work. I look down. My trousers are soaked with blood. Oh, I'm hit. Lieutenant's down! Lieutenant's down! Hands grab me, drag me back. Everything's confused, loud. The forest is on fire, literally on fire. Smoke everywhere. They get me to a field hospital. A surgeon looks at my leg for about 3 seconds. Bullet went through the calf. Clean wound. You're lucky. Lucky. Right. He bandages it up. Gives me a shot of whiskey. Can you walk? I try. It hurts like hell, but I can put weight on it. Then get back to your unit. We need every man. So I hobble back to the fight. The battle rages for 2 days. Unlike previous battles, this one doesn't have a clear winner. We don't break. The rebels don't break. We just hammer each other to a standstill. But here's the difference. In the past, after a battle like this, we would retreat. Lick our wounds. Wait. Not with Grant. On May 7th, we're preparing for the rebels to attack again when new orders come down. We're not retreating. We're marching south, around Lee's flank, heading deeper into Virginia. The men can't believe it. We're advancing after a battle like that. But Grant isn't playing by the old rules. He's not going to let Lee rest, not going to give him time to reorganize. We're going to keep pushing, keep fighting, until one side collapses. We beat Lee to Spotsylvania Courthouse. Barely. And then the real bloodletting begins. For nearly 2 weeks, we fight at Spotsylvania. Not one battle. Constant fighting. Every day, sometimes all night. Sometimes all night. May 12th is the worst. An all-day battle at a place called the Mule Shoe, or Bloody Angle. The fighting lasts 22 hours. 22 hours of continuous hand-to-hand combat. Rain pouring down, men slipping in mud and blood. Bayonets, fists, rifle butts. I'm in the thick of it. My leg is screaming, but I can't stop. None of us can stop. At one point, I'm standing on bodies. Layers of them, Union and Confederate mixed together. 3, 4 feet deep, and we're still fighting. Men are going insane. Really insane. Laughing while they kill, crying while they reload. A tree 18 inches thick, is cut down by rifle fire. Just thousands and thousands of bullets hitting the same spot until the tree falls. That's how much lead is flying through the air. When the fighting finally stops, I collapse. Can't move, can't think, can't feel anything. Thomas finds me, sits down next to me. We don't talk. Just sit in the mud and rain and blood and try to remember what it's like to be human. After Spotsylvania, we march south again. Fight at the North Anna River, at Cold Harbor. Each battle blurs into the next. We attack. They defend. Men die in horrifying numbers. Cold Harbor is the worst. June 3rd, 1864. Grant orders an assault on entrenched Confederate positions. It's a slaughter. We lose 7,000 men in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I'm in the second wave. We advance across open ground toward rebel earthworks. The first wave is already piled up dead in front of the enemy lines. We get maybe 50 yards before the order comes to fall back. The men in my platoon who went forward, half of them don't come back. Just cut down. Gone. We dig in. Spend the next 10 days in trenches, shooting at rebels 50 yards away. It's like Yorktown, like the Sunken Road, like every other horrible position we've been in, only worse, because it's hot. It's June in Virginia. The dead between the lines start to rot. The smell is indescribable. We can't recover the wounded. They lie between the lines for days, screaming, begging, dying. Finally, a truce is arranged to collect the dead and wounded. Most of the wounded have already died. From their wounds, from thirst, from exposure. I help carry bodies. Lost count after 50. This isn't war anymore. This is industrial slaughter. And I'm starting to wonder if Grant is any better than the generals who came before him. He fights. He doesn't retreat. But the casualty lists. The Army of the Potomac has lost 55,000 men in 1 month. A whole army. Gone. But we're still here. Still fighting, because Grant won't stop. And neither will Lee. June brings a change in strategy. We can't beat Lee in open battle. Not at this cost. So Grant does something clever. He swings the army south of Richmond, crosses the James River, heads for Petersburg. Petersburg is the key to Richmond. All the railroads that supply Lee's army run through Petersburg. If we take Petersburg, Richmond falls. If Richmond falls, the war is over. We almost do it. We almost take Petersburg in the first few days. But almost doesn't count in war. The rebels rush reinforcements, dig in, build fortifications. By mid-June, it's clear this is going to be a siege. A long siege. The siege of Petersburg becomes our new reality. We dig trenches, miles and miles of trenches, zigzagging across the landscape like a scar. It's a new kind of war, trench warfare. We sit in these trenches for days, weeks at a time, shooting at rebel trenches 100 yards away, occasionally launching raids, constantly under fire from snipers and artillery. Men die from boredom and random chance. A bullet from nowhere, a shell that happens to land in your section of trench. Mine explosions. My leg heals, but it's never quite right. I limp now. Probably will for the rest of my life, if I have a rest of my life. July 30th, 1864. Some genius has the idea to dig a tunnel under the rebel lines, pack it with explosives, blow a hole in their defenses, send troops through the breach. On paper, it's brilliant. In practice, it's a catastrophe. The mine explodes at 4:44 a.m., creates a crater 170 feet long, 60 feet wide, 30 feet deep. It's massive. The explosion kills hundreds of Confederates instantly, leaves a huge gap in their line. We attack, but somebody forgot to remove the obstacles in front of our own trenches. The attacking troops have to climb over abattis and chevaux de frise, which slows them down. When they reach the crater, instead of going around it, they go into it. Big mistake. The crater becomes a death trap. Thousands of Union soldiers packed into a hole while Confederate artillery and infantry fire down on them from 3 sides. It's a massacre. I'm supposed to lead my platoon in the attack, but by the time we're ordered forward, it's already clear the attack has failed. We advance anyway, because those are the orders. We get to the edge of the crater. Look down. It's full of bodies. Blue uniforms. Blood. Men still alive, trying to climb the sides, getting shot and sliding back down. Fall back! Fall back! Thank God. We retreat to our trenches. The casualties, 3,800 Union soldiers killed or wounded in one morning. For nothing. The siege continues. September and October bring more stalemate. We're still in the trenches, still shooting at rebels. Still dying 1 or 2 at a time from random fire. The Confederate trenches are so close in some places that we can talk to the rebels, trade tobacco for coffee, exchange newspapers. It's surreal. Talking to men I might kill tomorrow, who might kill me. One rebel, kid from Georgia, tells me about his farm, his wife, his kids. Sounds just like letters from home. Just like what my father might say. We're not that different, really. Just wearing different colored uniforms, killing each other because politicians and generals told us to. News from home is sparse. The mail is irregular, but I get a letter in October. My father is sick. Pneumonia. My mother is worried. I request leave. It's denied. We're short on officers. Can't spare anyone. I get another letter in November. My father has died. I read the letter sitting in a trench. Rain pouring down, artillery rumbling in the distance. My father is dead and I'm in Virginia killing strangers. Thomas finds me. reads the look on my face. What happened? My father died. He sits next to me. Doesn't say I'm sorry. We're beyond that. Beyond platitudes. He just sits with me in the rain. And that's enough. The winter of 1864 to 65 is brutal. We're still in the trenches, but now it's freezing. Snow, ice, wind. Men die from exposure, from frostbite, from diseases. The Confederate supply situation is getting desperate. We can see it. The rebels are thin, ragged, hungry. Desertions from Lee's army are increasing. Every night a few more rebels slip across the lines to surrender. The war is ending. Everyone can feel it. But it's not over yet. April 1865. Grant finally has enough men to extend the Union lines far enough to threaten Lee's last supply line, the South Side Railroad. We attack on April 2nd, break through the rebel lines at Five Forks, cut the railroad. Petersburg falls, Richmond falls. Lee's army retreats west, and we pursue. For the first time in years, we're not in trenches. We're marching, fighting running battles, pursuing a broken army. It's exhilarating, terrifying. We can smell victory, but the rebels are still fighting. Still dangerous. April 6th. Sailors Creek. We catch part of Lee's army. Surround them. Thousands of Confederates surrender. It's over. Almost over. We keep marching. Keep pushing. Lee is running out of room. Out of options. April 9th, 1865. We're marching toward a place called Appomattox Courthouse. Intelligence says Lee's army is nearby, trying to escape south. We're going to cut them off. Early morning, we form up, prepare to attack. But before we can move, there's a commotion. Officers riding back and forth. Messengers everywhere. Then the word spreads. Truce. Lee is negotiating surrender. The war is over. I don't believe it. Can't believe it. We stand in formation for hours, waiting, watching. Then we see them, Confederate officers riding toward a house under a white flag. One of them is Lee, Robert E. Lee himself, the man who has haunted our army for 4 years, who has defeated us again and again. He's going to surrender. The men start cheering, quietly at first, then louder, hats thrown in the air, men crying, hugging. Thomas grabs me, shakes me. It's over, Sam, it's over. I nod. Can't speak. The war is over. I'm alive. I'm going home. We don't see the actual surrender ceremony. Only the officers do, but we hear about it. Lee signs the surrender. The Army of Northern Virginia, what's left of it, will lay down their arms. The fighting is over. April 12th. The formal surrender ceremony. The Confederate troops march past us, stack their rifles, furl their flags. Grant has ordered us to be respectful. No cheering, no celebrating. These men are not enemies anymore. They're fellow Americans. I watch the rebel soldiers march past. Ragged, starving, defeated. But they march with dignity, heads held high. Some are crying, some are angry, some just look relieved. One rebel, old man with a white beard, stops and salutes us as he stacks his rifle. We salute back. The war is over. The Army of the Potomac begins to disband almost immediately. Grant has to send some units south to deal with the remaining Confederate armies. But the Army of Northern Virginia was the main enemy. With Lee's surrender, the war is effectively over. We camp near Appomattox for a few days, waiting for orders, waiting to go home. April 14th. News reaches us. President Lincoln has been shot, assassinated, at a theater in Washington. The joy of victory evaporates. We've won the war, saved the Union, and our president is dead. It feels like a cruel joke. Lincoln dies the next morning. April 15th, 1865. The army goes into mourning, black bunting everywhere. Memorial services. I never met Lincoln, never saw him except from a distance. But his death feels personal. We fought for 4 years, lost so many men. And for what? Lincoln won't see the peace, won't see the Union restored. It's May before we get orders to muster out. Thomas and I are sitting outside our tent, cleaning our equipment one last time. We made it, Thomas says. I can't believe we made it. Yeah, I'm looking at my rifle. This weapon has been with me for 4 years. I've fired it in dozens of battles. Killed men with it. Soon I'll turn it in. Go home. Try to become a civilian again. But I don't know if I can. Don't know if you can do what I've done and go back to being a normal person. What are you going to do? Thomas asks. When you get home? I don't know. Farm, I guess. Help my mother. Be there for Mary. Yeah. We sit in silence. Sam? You ever think about what we did? Every day. No, I mean, was it worth it? All of it? I think about that. Think about all the men I've seen die. All the horror, all the blood. I don't know, I say honestly. The slaves are free. The Union is saved. So maybe. But the cost? I trail off. Thomas nods. Understands. We sit together as the sun sets. 2 farm boys from Pennsylvania who went to war and somehow survived. Tomorrow we go home, May 1865. I'm on a train heading north, back to Pennsylvania, back to my family. I've been discharged. I have papers, $40 in back pay, a battered haversack with my few possessions, and a limp that will never go away. The train is packed with other veterans, all heading home. There's laughter, singing, card games. I sit by the window and watch Virginia pass by. The battlefields we fought on, the roads we marched, the rivers we crossed, so much blood soaked into this soil. Thomas is on another train. We said goodbye at the mustering out point. Shook hands. Couldn't think of anything to say. Everything had been said already. Or maybe nothing needed to be said. He's going back to his farm. Going to marry the girl he left behind. Going to try to forget. I hope he can. I don't think I will. The train crosses into Pennsylvania, my home state. I should feel happy, relieved. Instead, I feel hollow. I arrive in my hometown on a sunny May afternoon. The station is almost empty. The war has been over for a month. Most of the men have already come home, or haven't come home and never will. I start walking toward my family's farm. It's 5 miles. My leg hurts, but I don't care. The countryside looks the same, like the war never touched it. Fields green with crops, birds singing, sun shining. How can it be the same when I'm so different? I see our farm in the distance. The house, the barn, everything exactly as I remember it. I'm almost home when I see Mary, my little sister. She's 11 now, was 7 when I left. She sees me, stops, stares. Then she's running, screaming, "Sam! Sam's home! Sam's home!" She hits me like a cannonball, nearly knocks me over. I catch her, hold her tight. "I knew you'd come back," she sobs into my chest. "I knew it." My mother appears in the doorway, older, grayer, thinner. She walks toward me slowly, like she doesn't believe I'm real. I set Mary down, walk to my mother. We stand there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then she pulls me into an embrace. "You came home," she whispers. "You came home." I'm crying, can't help it. I'm home. The first few weeks are strange. Everyone wants to hear about the war, about the battles, the glory, the adventure. I tell them what they want to hear. Gloss over the horror, make it sound noble. But at night I can't sleep. I lie awake hearing the screams, seeing the faces, reliving moments I'll never forget. The nightmares are constant. I wake up screaming, convinced I'm back in the trenches, back at Gettysburg, back in the wilderness. My mother hears. Never says anything, just makes me warm milk, sits with me until I calm down. Mary wants her big brother to play with her, but I can't. I'm too tense, too jumpy. Loud noises make me flinch. One day, she drops a pot. The clang makes me hit the floor, heart racing, reaching for a rifle that isn't there. She starts crying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel terrible. What kind of brother am I? What kind of man am I? I try to help with the farm, but my body doesn't work like it used to. The leg wound, the lingering effects of disease, the years of hard living. I'm 20 years old and I feel 50. The farm is struggling. Without my father, without me, things have fallen behind. We're barely scraping by. But I can't focus, can't concentrate. Every task feels meaningless compared to what I've been through. What does it matter if the corn comes in good? Men are dead. Friends are dead. Will is dead. That kid James Porter is dead. Thousands of men are dead. And I'm worried about corn. It doesn't make sense. Thomas comes to visit in July. He looks better than I feel. Still haunted, but he's trying. Really trying to move on. We sit on the porch and talk. Really talk for the first time since we got home. Do you have the dreams? I ask. Every night. You? Yeah. We're quiet for a while. I went to see Will's widow, Thomas says. Took her his notebook. The drawings. How is she? Broken. She's got her daughter, at least. The little girl looks just like Will. More silence. Sam, does it get better? This feeling? I want to say yes. Want to tell him it'll be okay. We'll heal. We'll move on. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know, I say. He nods. Expected that answer. We survived, he says. That's something. Is it? Has to be. Otherwise, what was the point? What was the point? That's the question I keep asking myself. We saved the Union, freed the slaves, won the war, but I lost something in those 4 years, something I can't get back. My innocence, my youth, my faith that the world makes sense. All gone, left in Virginia fields and Pennsylvania hills and Maryland farmland. Months pass, then a year. Slowly, painfully, I learn to live again. Not the life I had before. That boy is gone. Died somewhere between Williamsburg and Appomattox. But a new life. A different life. I take over the farm. Mary grows up. Starts to understand that her brother came back different. I marry a local girl, Alice, in 1867. She knows about the war. Knows about the nightmares. Knows I can't talk about most of it. She loves me anyway. We have children, 3 of them, 2 boys and a girl. I never tell them about the war, not the real war, not the blood and the horror. I tell them sanitized stories, the kind of stories people want to hear, about bravery and honor and noble causes. But I make sure they know. War is not glorious. War is not adventure. War is young men dying in mud for reasons they don't understand. The years pass. The veterans start having reunions. Blue and gray together. Former enemies shaking hands. Talking about the battles they fought against each other. I go to one in 1878. Gettysburg. They're dedicating monuments to the different regiments. I see Thomas there. We're both in our 30s now. He's a shopkeeper, has 4 kids. We walk the battlefield together. Stand at the stone wall where we fought on July 3rd, 1863. 15 years, Thomas says. Feels like yesterday and forever ago at the same time. Yeah. We're quiet, looking out at the field where Pickett's division charged, where thousands died. Do you regret it? Thomas asks. Going to war? I think about that. Really think about it. No, I finally say. We did what we had to do. The Union had to be saved. Slavery had to end. Those are things worth fighting for. But I wish I'd understood the cost. Really understood it. Before I went. Thomas nods. Would it have changed anything, if you'd known? Maybe. Maybe not. I was 15. Stupid. Thought I was invincible. We all did. We stand there as the sun sets over Gettysburg. 2 old soldiers remembering the young men we used to be. I lived to be 73 years old. Saw the turn of the century. Saw automobiles and electric lights and all the modern wonders. But I never forgot. Never stopped dreaming about the war. On my deathbed in 1919, I called my grandchildren to me. "Listen," I said. "Listen carefully. I need you to understand something." They gathered around, young faces, innocent eyes. "I fought in the Civil War," I said. "I saw things that no one should ever see. I did things I'm not proud of. I survived when better men died." They nodded. They'd heard the stories. "The world is going to tell you that war is glorious, that dying for your country is noble, that soldiers are heroes." I paused, gathered my strength. "Don't believe it. War is hell. It destroys everything it touches. It turned boys into killers and sent them home broken." I looked at each of them. "If war comes again, and it will, it always does, do everything you can to avoid it. Run if you have to. Hide if you must, but don't go willingly. Don't go thinking it'll be an adventure." "But Grandpa," one asked, "what about duty? What about honor?" "Duty and honor are what old men talk about to convince young men to die for them." I closed my eyes, so tired. The only honor is in survival. The only duty is to the people you love. Remember that. Those were my last words about the war. I died 3 days later. So that's my story. I fought in the American Civil War. I survived. But I lost something that I never got back. Over 620,000 soldiers died in that war. Hundreds of thousands more were wounded. Millions of lives were destroyed. But the Union was preserved. Slavery was abolished. America continued. Was it worth it? I don't know. That's a question every person has to answer for themselves. What I do know is this: war is not what you think it is. It's not the movies. It's not the history books. It's not glory and flags and marching bands. It's mud and blood and chaos and terror and death. It's boys screaming for their mothers. It's friends dying in your arms. It's the smell of rotting corpses and gunpowder. It's nights you can't sleep and memories you can't forget. If you take anything from this video, take this. Peace is always better than war. Always. No matter what they tell you, no matter how righteous the cause seems, the cost of war is measured in broken bodies and shattered minds and families that will never be whole again. I paid that cost. So did millions of others, and I'm telling you, from someone who was there, who lived it, who survived it, do everything in your power to make sure you never have to. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this valuable, please subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. What did you think? What questions do you have? And remember, the veterans of every war have stories like mine, stories of sacrifice and suffering and survival. Listen to them, honor them, learn from them, so that maybe, just maybe, we can break the cycle. So that maybe your generation won't have to go through what we went through. That's my hope. That's why I told this story. Thank you. And remember, war is hell. Don't ever forget it.